Welcome to the Bull, the Bear, and the Ugly podcast, your no-nonsense guide to the markets. Whether you're watching us live at sktrading.live or listening on your favorite podcast platform, we've got you covered. Subscribe, join the community, and get ready to dive into real talk and real market insights. Let's get started.
I am Stephen Kalayjian, and welcome to the Bull, the Bear, and the Ugly. All I have to say is OMG. Oh my God. What an insane day. It was absolutely unbelievable. You know, there were some quiet periods in the day because the 1 o'clock, the market was waiting for the bond auction to see how, foreign buyers would take our bonds. Because we use the bonds to float our debt and, keep the government going, obviously. And there was big fear that a lot of countries would not step up to the plate, like Japan, and who's a very big buyer, or China of our debt. And the markets, for a period of about 2 hours before the bond auction at 1 o'clock, was very, very quiet. There was some couple great short patterns. They dropped about 50 or 60 on the S&P. And then all of a sudden, 1 o'clock, there was a pause. And then, boom, bond prices went up like that. Yields went down. And it was unbelievable. The market apparently loved the bond auction, that there were buyers in the market. They didn't have to go out to higher rates where to attract buyers. Buyers gobbled up the debt at the current auction price. Normally what happens is that's a high demand for bonds. If there was no buyers or a lack of buyers, they would have to really, really increase the yields even higher to attract buyers at higher rates for them to get attractive returns. But the buyers were there. And guess what? The bond market exploded, and that helped the index futures, and they backed off a little bit. And then 10 minutes later, the president comes out and says, I'm cutting tariffs, I'm reducing them to 10% after 90 days, but there's going to be a freeze. But I'm taxing and raising the tariffs to 125% in China. Well, I'm going to show you in one bar, the S&P futures rallied 363 points in one bar on a 15-minute time frame, from 50.25 to 53.88. It was. I've seen that everything. I don't think I've ever seen that, and I also don't think I've ever seen in my 41 years a 5-minute pullback that happened at 3 o'clock. S&P's pulled in to the 53.70. We caught a perfect long. And I mean, it rallied about 25, 30 points. Most of the community got out, up $3 on the spiders. But that one pattern ran from 53.70 up more than 100 points. I don't think I've ever seen a 5-minute pullback on an index future. NASDAQ ran 500. I can't wait to show you these patterns, and I'm going to tell you, remember I was telling you the distance between the price and the 10-bar weighted moving average? Well, that's all gone. Remember I told you if the weeklies are negative, but the monthlies, if they close below April 30th, below the 535 on the spiders, well, we're not out of the woods yet, but guess what? That indicator flipped back positive. So the trend is still in place. I mean, the trend was still in place, and I'll show you all this. But what a day. At 3 o'clock, everything pulled in. Avago rallied 6. Meta rallied 10. S&Ps rallied 100. Spiders rallied 10. Hughes rallied 10. Apple, on a pullback on the 15, ran about 14. It was just Microsoft ran 6, like I said. Palantir ran 2. AMD ran 2. But the big names like the spiders, the Qs, ran $10 each. Unbelievable. Now, the Russell kind of lagged All right. Still was a good day on the Russell, up about 8%. S&P's up 9%. NASDAQ futures, NASDAQ up 12%. So pretty much the loss for the year has been pretty much put to bed, right? Okay. But we're not out of the woods because I'm going to show you so many things here and I'm just going to lay it out. There's a ton of overhead resistance. Now, we do have a gap around the 5,700, 5,800 level. And I think on the Qs are 477, 478. So maybe we get one more big push up. We do have the CPI number coming out tomorrow and the PPI on Friday. But I think that low that we saw, and today they were trading 48.71 in the early morning at 2 a.m. on the S&Ps. Now, I told you that we had that breakout level of 48.14, right? And that breakout level really acted as support. So let's just see what happens. I think the lows are in. I don't think we're going to see that. I think if anything, we're going to be trading in a range. If we do get extremely overbought on the dailies and we get up another 200, 300, 400 points, I would be looking to sell out. I think that this is there's a ton of overhead resistance, and I can't wait to start showing you exactly what we saw here today. So let me get right to it. Okay. So first of all, this is the spike up right here at 130. Well, it's about 110, but it happened on this 15-minute time frame. You can see the S&Ps were trading 525 and a quarter, and they pushed up to 538, 53.88. Okay, right there. So 50 and a quarter on the S&Ps, a monster move, 363 points. If you look at the NASDAQ futures, I mean, it's just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Okay, you can see it here. NASDAQ, look at this, 17,420, ran 1,365 points on that pattern. When this push up happened, obviously, okay, if you look at the Qs, everything reversed to buy on the 15, 30, and the 60-minute time frames right here. So at 130, you can see the positive MACDs, the rising ADXs, right? You can see the algorithm reversed to buy. Let's look at the 60-minute time frame. Everything reversed to buy. Everything right here, 130 time period. So now you have the MACDs positive on the 15, 30, and 60-minute time frames. Monster longs. Monster longs. And then we saw this push down here. And this pullback right here, believe it or not, this pullback right here, after they made new highs here on the day, you can see the 456.27. On the pullback, it's up a nice long on the 3-minute time frame. ADXs are rising on the 15 and the 30-minute. Here's the MACD's positive. Here's the 30-minute ADX rising. Look at the big buying pressure. MACD positive. ADX rising. Monster buying pressure. But then look what happened here. Okay, look what happened here. 30-minute MACD's positive. ADXs are rising. 15, the same. Look at the pullback on the 5-minute time frame. Now, we caught this long, and it went right into the 10-bar moving average. Again, I use the 10-bar moving average as a way to guide myself where I'd be looking for entries and exits, and I use indicator 3 for me to be able to identify this pullback on the oversold condition. Look at the low right here on the Qs. I was scaling into longs below 52.5. Okay, and then look at this right here, 551.73. If you count the bars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bars, $13. 13 points. Our trades usually last anywhere from 1 to 8 bars. If you look at the S&P futures here on that pullback, right into the 10 bar, right here, 53, 52. Unbelievable. Unbelievable on this pattern. 52. They ran 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bars, almost 130 handles on the S&P. This is a monster move here. Okay, an absolute move. Again, when you have the first pullback on the 5-minute time frame, the MACDs are positive on the 30. The ADXs are rising on the 30. The big buying pressure greater than 20. The 15, MACDs positive, ADX is rising, big buying pressure. The 30s, the 15s, the 15s, the 30 and 60-minute time frames, all bullish. You buy the first pullback on the 5-minute time frame. Boom, kaboom. Like I said, the Qs ran 11. The S&Ps ran 130. The NASDAQ ran north of 500. It was absolutely amazing. Microsoft, I had Avago longs, NVIDIA longs, Meta longs. Throw a dart. Okay? Throw a dart. Now, this was unbelievable, this pattern. But let me show you this one here, Apple. So Apple reverses to buy on the 30 and the 60-minute time frames. Right here. Here's Apple on the 30 and the 60-minute time frames. You can see it right here. MACD's positive, MACD's positive, ADX off, algo positive here. But when Apple got deeply oversold right here, it got oversold into the positive MACD on the 15. But it also got oversold when the algorithm reversed. The algorithms on the 30 and the 60-minute time frame were bullish. Okay? Now that the algorithm reversed to sell doesn't make a difference to me. Okay? Because you went from a buy trend to a buy disconnect. The 30 and the 60s are still bullish. But when Apple got oversold, so this is a buy divergence and a buy disconnect. The 15s reversed to sell, positive MACD. The 15 got oversold when the MACDs and the algorithms were bullish on the 30 and the 60-minute time frame. Now, did I expect Apple to run $14? No. 4, 5, whatever. But that pattern, when that lined up on the 5-minute time frame on the S&P, it also set up the long on the 15-minute time frame on the spiders, the Qs, the diamonds, the Russell, getting oversold into the positive MACD, rising ADX, monster buying pressure. It was 3 absolute buy divergences in a positive trend. I'll show you. Look at the spiders. Monster long here. So we got the pullback right here. This pullback right here. You can see when this pushed down, you can see the low, 529.68. And then it closed at 537.46. When the spiders were trading the 529.68, dynamically, my oscillator was in the 18 to 25 range. But because this plot's what's called end of bar, dynamically, it was below about the 18 to 22 range on the oversold condition. But because it traded down and then closed higher right here, you can see 537.46. It closed roughly $8 higher. It plotted higher. So when we got this oversold condition, you got oversold. So the indicator 3 was actually here, lower, and then it ripped, okay? But because it plots end of bar and it rallied 8, it plotted here. So at this point, let's just say, for example, it got here, near the 18 to 20 range, and then it got oversold into the positive MACD, oversold into the big buying pressure, oversold into the rising ADX. That's a monster buy divergence. So when that 5-minute pulled in, I looked, I'm like, oh my God, the 15s are pulling in at the same time. Back up the truck, Gus. It was an absolute phenomenal pattern. Phenomenal pattern. All right. It was an unbelievable. At 3 o'clock, just throw a dart. Like I said, Meta, Microsoft, Avago, Coinbase, MSTR ran about 8, Meta ran about 10, Palantir, AMD, Microsoft, Amazon, just throw a dart. Microsoft rallied on that one about 2, but the big ones were Avago, Meta, what else? The Qs, the Spiders, the Dow rallied about 400 on that, 350, 400. So again, what's really important is to identify these patterns. The news came out. We caught a couple of great shorts. All right. Scalp shorts, waited for the pullback, waited patiently. So from the 110 time when this news was announced, okay, and the market finally pushed up, it took until about an hour and 50 minutes to have that 5-minute pullback, 5-minute time frame pullback and set up. But it was well worth it. It was a phenomenal pattern. Absolute Picasso. The 5-minute pulling in with the MACDs positive. ADX is rising on the 1530. First pullback on the 5 after all 3 time frames align, 1530 and hourly. On that pullback from the highs, the 15-minute time frame set up, oversold on the 15, the positive MACD, rising ADX, big buying pressure on the 15 and the 30-minute time frame. Absolute, one Picasso after another. So it was a great day. Gold had some really great patterns in it as well. Oil exploded. Monster move in oil. I'll show it to you here for those of you who are trading oil. Now, at this time, the USOs all reversed to buy. You can see here the spike up in oil. Look at this oil, 56.42, trades up, almost $5, more than $5 here. I'll put the 15 here. Everything reversed to buy on the USOs on the 15, 30, and 60-minute time frames. And then look at this monster bull flag. Look at this monster. This is the first pullback on the 5-minute time frame on crude. 61.72 rallies about $1. $1 in crude. That's a monster move in crude oil. A monster move in crude. These patterns repeat themselves. I spent nearly 10 years of my life building this. This is really, my community did so well. My phone's blowing up. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to teach each and every one of you. Again, monster day. S&Ps closed up 480 points. NASDAQ up over 2,050. The Qs traded up over 49. The Spiders closed up 47. So practically the losses for the year are pretty much, maybe we're down a point or two, or if not unchanged. But again, monster day today. And I'm so glad everyone in our community did extremely well. And I'm here to show you the patterns and explain to you through my podcast here exactly the technology I use each and every day that I teach for individuals. I help the hedge funds, family offices, and I just constantly just disseminate the news as I see it and trade it, and also be able to help the people in my community understand the patterns and teach them along the way. When I get back, I'm going to tell you what I expect for tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we have the 8:30 CPI number, and then on Friday we have the PPI number. All right. Now, I think it's going to be overshadowed with the tariffs. God forbid China comes out and says something overnight. That could be a problem. But right now, let's just say that where CPI numbers is going to be a big number tomorrow. If the number comes in hotter than expected, that could have a sell-off here. But when you get these big buy reversals on the Spiders and the Qs on the 30 and 60-minute time frames, we're going to be looking for some type of a deep pullback here on the 30-minute time frame. These MACDs are very positive right now, and I'll show it to you in a minute. So for tomorrow, if we do get a bullish number on CPI and inflation comes down, I'm not so certain that's going to be the case. But if it does, and we push up, okay, I would probably look to short the significant overbought condition. Right now I have a 96 overbought condition on the diamonds. I'm sorry, on the 60-minute time frame on the spiders and on the Qs. So if we do get a big push up tomorrow, I'll probably look to fade that. Okay. Then I probably look for some type of a pullback on the 15/30-minute time frame, which that's just set up for longs. If the number comes in hotter than expected and inflation's hotter than they expected on the number, and the number goes higher, then I think we get some type of a push down, okay? And then I think I'll still be waiting for the 60-minute time frames to work off the overbought condition, and then look for a nice pullback on the 15/30-minute time frame. So that's the game plan for tomorrow. Very simple. All the big time frames reverse to buy on the 30 and 60-minute time frames. NVIDIA, Vago, Meta, AMD, Amazon, just throw a name. MSTR, Coinbase, Avago, okay, AMD, Palantir. I'll be looking for pullbacks no matter what tomorrow. But if we do get some type of a surprise and they gap them up, I'll be looking to fade the gap. Remember, there is a gap on the Qs around the 477 level. But I want to show you one more thing here, okay? All right. And I'm going to bring up the spiders here, okay? And I'm going to bring up the daily and the weekly. Now, I told everybody that the weeklies were in single digits. We were at a 9. But look what I want to show you here, okay? I want to show you this. We have a ton of overhead resistance here. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make this the weekly here. I like to show you this, okay? The MACDs are still negative here. You're getting overbought. You're getting pushed up. So maybe we go another 250, 300, okay? Right here. You get a push up. Look at all this overhead resistance here. There's a ton of overhead resistance here. I don't see that happening, especially with the negative MACD here, like this. If you look at the daily, you can see the same. Make it a little bit better. A little tighter here. Now, remember I told you we were about 450, 500 points from the 10 bar to the weighted moving average. I know this game, I've been doing this, okay? That's why I said I was looking to be a buyer below the 48.60, 48.80 on the market. And you can see here, maybe this gap gets filled right here. Well, this gap should get filled on the spiders, the 560 right here. So that's about another 12 up. So that means the S&Ps will be like 5620, 5650. If they get, okay, now remember, if they get up to 56, 57, 5800, okay, you have a ton of overhead resistance here. A ton of overhead resistance all the way up. And again, like I said, if you want to see the bigger time frame, the weekly, it shows it even better. There is a ton of overhead resistance. And I think it's going to be very, very hard for the market, this juncture, okay, to get through this number. Maybe 57.72 is where the 10 bar moving average comes in. So maybe they rally another 200, 300, 250 points from here. But at that point, I would be looking to sell. I'd be looking for sells. And I think that the market will have some type of a very, very sharp pullback. Okay. Again, I don't think it's going to hit 4,800. Okay. I think that pretty much that the lows are in based upon I'm seeing. And again, that 4,800 level was the base. And I kept on saying that 4,800, that breakout level of 4,812 was really very, very big floor. And the market did exactly what it did. It held it. We got that aberration, which we get probably anywhere from 2 to 3 aberrations in a year, right? And this was one of them. We got that push down, held, and now we rally back up and erase that gap from the price to the 10 bar moving average. But on the weekly, we come in at 572. which is 5,700 on the S&Ps. We're only about 200 points from here. That's nothing, right? 200, 300 points. We get up to that 57, 5,800, double top, getting overbought into that negative MACD on that weekly. I'll let them have them. That's a huge sell divergence right there. Okay. All right. When I come back, I want to just give you some insight on some experiences that I've had in my career, and I hope that this can really help you moving forward. You know, I've been so grateful to be in this industry for over 41 years, and this August 1st will be 42. And it gives me such great joy to come here every single day to work with family offices, hedge funds, prop traders, and of course, people in my community at SK Trading. And for me, you know, one of the things that I have obviously is experience, right? I work with the biggest and the best in the industry. And for me now, you know, whether it's crazy volatile times or times when there's slow periods, but this is a really great moment at this stage of my life at 62 to be able to contribute, to help guide and educate those along the way. I took no lunch today. I don't even know if I even went to the bathroom. I can't remember. But the point is that I'm here nonstop, guiding you, educating you, teaching you. All I ask is that you be proactive. So many times before the bond auction, I ask people in my community, anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions? Then it's time for me to answer them, explain things to them. But most important, it's really about what? Being proactive, being on your toes, not on your heels. I'm not a mind reader, okay? But I've seen so many people in the last week or so, and I've beyond helped them, and I see them really turning the corner. And I love that. I love that people are, you know, allowing me to guide them, allowing me to educate them. And it's just really unbelievable to see the progress of so many. A lot of work. Everybody has different learning curves, no problem. But again, what's really great is the ability for each and every one of you to be part of something great here. And that's what I focus on. I've been here since 7 o'clock this morning, and I'll probably be here till 11 o'clock tonight. Okay. It just gives me so much great joy to be able to work with each and every one of you, to help you, guide you, and make you all and empower you all to be successful traders. But I'm asking you one thing. Please, please, please be proactive. All right. That's the most important thing. Don't be worried about asking a question in the Discord. Just be able, let it out, learn, and then ask the questions, and this will all come. If you're a beginner, you're not going to get this in the first 3 or 4 days. Everything I do is based upon visualization and repetition, and it just will start coming. If you start asking questions and watching what I'm teaching during the day and showing you the patterns and explaining the conditions and my 5 steps on my chart overlay and understanding how to scale in and scale out of trades. I had to call someone today in the midst of some craziness because he wasn't sure on how to scale in or scale out. And I explained certain examples and he said, okay, now I understand. So that gave me a lot of great joy that he actually learned it. Okay. Now, again, it's important to realize that this is very fast paced. As you see, the market is not going to wait for me and or you. Everybody was going to learn at their own pace. But I firmly believe that with the ability the good Lord gave me, the skill set that I have, and the passion that I have, that I want to teach each and every one of you, is why I do this each and every day. All right. Thank you so much for joining me here today on the Bull, the Bear, and the Ugly. If you have any questions at all, you can, if you're a member, you can write to support at sktrading.live. Please go to my website, sktrading.live. Also, please subscribe to my podcast, leave a comment. I try to do whatever I can and answer the comments at night when I'm here. Please follow me on social media on X, Instagram, and TikTok. It's @official Stephen Kalayjian. I can't tell you how many people have tried to hack me. Come join my community of traders each and every day. It's just something I can't wait to. When I see new people jump in, I'm just so excited to get to know you and talk. My cell phone number, if anybody needs anything, just text me 914-500-7484. I have people from Germany, France, all over India. So many people contacting me on WhatsApp. And it's just, like I said, I get to it when I can, but I do want to hear from you again, most important. But again, I want to say thank you for joining me here on The Bull, the Bear, and the Ugly. Tomorrow, another day. Can't wait to come back. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to The Bull, the Bear, and the Ugly podcast, your no-nonsense guide to the markets. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe at sktrading.live or on your favorite podcast platform. We'd love for you to rate, review, and join our community for more real talk and market insights. Until next time, keep trading and stay sharp.